Today, we will talk about austerity measures. Austerity refers to a set of economic policies that a government implements in order to control public sector debt. Governments put austerity measures in place when their public debt is so large that the risk of default or the inability to service the required payments on its obligations becomes a real possibility. Governments experience financial instability when their debt outweighs the amount of revenue they receive, resulting in large budget deficits. Debt levels generally increase when government spending increases. This means that there is a greater chance that federal governments can default on their debts. In order to control their debt levels, they may have to take certain measures. Austerity measures indicate that governments are willing to take steps to bring some degree of financial health back to their budgets. Austerity became almost imperative during the global recession in Europe, where Eurozone members didn't have the ability to address mounting debts by printing their own currency. Thus, as their default risk increased, creditors put pressure on certain European countries to aggressively tackle spending. There is some disagreement among economists about the effect of tax policy on the government budget. Most economists and policy analysts agree that raising taxes will raise revenues. For example, Greece increased value-added tax rates to 23% in 2010. Austerity measures take many forms, including reducing government spending, which is considered to be a more efficient means of reducing the deficit. Any reduction in spending is a de facto austerity measure. The effectiveness of austerity remains a matter of sharp debate. While supporters argue that massive deficits can suffocate the broader economy, opponents believe that government programs are the only way to make up for reduced personal consumption during a recession. Austerity measures in the United States between 1920 and 1921 are considered a model response to a recession, despite sharp debates among economists and historians about whether the measures were necessary. Greece's problems began following the Great Recession, as the country was spending too much money relative to tax collection. The austerity program that the country enacted provided only mixed benefits to its economy, and Greece remained mired in its own depression. A budget deficit happens when spending is higher than revenue, which means the national debt increases. Sovereign default happens when a country cannot pay its debts, and it may trigger a recession or cause the country's currency to lose value. Economists disagree on whether austerity measures work as they are intended to, and depending on the overall economic situation and its causes, austerity may improve an economy or cause further damage. Austerity measures are strict, frugal economic policies used by governments to manage public debt. They are controversial, and outcomes from austerity measures can be more damaging than if they hadn't been used. Here are 4 key takeaways. 1. Austerity refers to strict economic policies that a government imposes to control growing public debt, defined by increased frugality. 2. There are 3 primary types of austerity measures: revenue generation, higher taxes, to fund spending, raising taxes while cutting non-essential government functions, and lower taxes and lower government spending. 3. Austerity is controversial, and national outcomes from austerity measures can be more damaging than if they hadn't been used. 4. Many countries, including the United States and Greece, have introduced austerity measures during times of economic uncertainty. Hope this would help. Thanks for watching.